Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications whenever we share a video.
This week in Apple news and in the tech world in general, we have a lot of quick headlines, so let's just get started, shall we? Why not start with some more low-cost iPhone SE 2, iPhone 9, whatever it is that Apple's going to call this iPhone. And although there were plenty of reports last week that this new iPhone could launch at any minute, we've still yet to see anything official. But more and more clues are starting to pop up about this new device, and two new clues, one being on a Chinese e-commerce website and another on Verizon's smartphone trade-in page, popped up this week. Chinese retailer JD.com has published a placeholder for Apple's so-called iPhone 9 that includes a teaser image of a veiled smartphone, but other than that, it lacks any particular revealing specs. The other was allegedly on Verizon's trade-in program list of eligible smartphones, but let's take these leaks with a grain of salt, as per usual. In iPhone 12 news, with a little iOS 14 sprinkled in, we have two images that were shared on social media earlier this week that stoked speculation about possible hardware redesigns and the potential introduction of widgets on the home screen in iOS 14. The images depict a front and rear graphical representation of a smartphone with interface elements on the screen suggesting it came out of a tutorial or some sort of support doc. Personally, I think these are more likely internal support docs, and I'm not sure we really should be speculating this heavily since the source of these images do not come from anything established. But why not? Speculation can be fun. Two focuses of interest are the size of the device's notch, which appears to be about a third smaller than the one currently found on iPhones with Face ID, and a new camera setup on the rear of the iPhone showing a revised lens array. The other image in question shows what could be widgets amongst icons on the home screen. Now personally, I'd love to see widgets be an option on the home screen in iOS 14, but not if we are still forced to have all of our apps everywhere else. If it can be more like Android, where we can pick and choose whatever and wherever we want to place apps or widgets, then I'm totally on board. But would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in those comments down below. Speaking of iOS 14, there was a report about a new feature that Apple could be developing that would allow users to interact with select content and experiences in third-party apps without actually needing to install those applications. The report claims a new API referred to as Clips in iOS 14 code would enable users to scan a QR code linked to an app and then interact with content from that app via a floating card on the screen. The card would display options to download the full version of the app from the App Store or to open the content in the app if it is already installed. Now, Android already has a similar feature that they call Slices. In efforts to keep beefing up its VR profile, Apple is reportedly planning to acquire California-based VR company NextVR for roughly $100 million. NextVR is a company that meshes virtual reality with sports, music, and entertainment, offering VR experiences for watching live events on VR headsets from PlayStation, HTC, Oculus, Google, Microsoft, and others. And finally, in two mini headlines, there has been a report out there that Apple's over-ear headphones and those new AirPods Pro Lite, or just the regular AirPods refresh that we've been hearing quite a bit about, could launch as soon as June around the now all-virtual WWDC event. And for you emoji lovers out there, it looks as if the Unicode Consortium has announced that it's delaying version 14 of the Unicode standard by 6 months due to the impact of the ongoing pandemic, and the delay will affect emojis that were scheduled to be included as part of the update. So let me know your thoughts on this week's headline, as well as any headlines that you thought were interesting that we did not cover in those comments down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.